Just days before the biggest match of her career, Rhea Ripley found herself nearly unable to walk. From the outside, everything looked perfect. WrestleMania 41, the grand stage, the bright lights, and Rhea Ripley walking down that enormous ramp looking like the unstoppable powerhouse we've come to know. But beneath that confident appearance, something was terribly wrong. She was in severe pain, and what millions saw on TV was actually one of the most painful, physically demanding moments of her life. The truth, only recently revealed, is that Ripley was dealing with a debilitating back injury that almost pulled her from the card entirely. In a new interview with Chris Van Vliet on Insight, Ripley admitted she wasn't even sure she'd make it to the ring. Her back had given out so badly just 48 hours before the event that competing at WrestleMania 41 was in serious jeopardy. This wasn't just any match, either. It was a triple threat involving Ripley, Io Sky, and Bianca Belair. Originally, the plan had been Ripley versus Belair one-on-one, but those plans shifted, and a new direction was taken. Despite the reshuffling, the one constant was Rhea's growing physical issues. Her back was in such bad condition that she required emergency treatment simply to function, let alone wrestle. She described how her personal masseuse, Matthew, had to work on her body for 2 straight nights before the show. She said to him, "I need you to make sure I can walk tomorrow." It wasn't about feeling good, it was about being physically able to get through the match without collapsing. Thanks to his work, Ripley loosened up just enough to step into the ring. She made it happen, but just barely. She said it's an ongoing issue now, one that comes and goes, sometimes manageable and sometimes overwhelming. Her grueling schedule doesn't help, and even she admits that she sometimes forgets to do the small things, like stretching, that could prevent flare-ups. This kind of revelation really sheds light on the kind of toughness it takes to perform at that level. Fans often look at superstars and assume they're at peak physical health during these huge matches, but Rhea's story proves otherwise. The best often perform under the worst conditions, and to make it more complicated, Ripley didn't just perform, she delivered. You'd never have known she was dealing with something so severe if you only watched the match. That's a testament to her mental and physical strength, and her dedication to the craft. After that WrestleMania match, though, things didn't stay steady for Ripley. She ended up dropping the Women's World Championship to Io Sky on a random episode of Monday Night Raw, which shocked many and seemed to derail what fans thought was the long-term plan. This unexpected loss forced a shift in her narrative. On the Raw that followed WrestleMania, Ripley was involved in a brutal angle with Roxanne Perez, which eventually wove itself into the Queen of the Ring tournament storyline. While Ripley didn't win the tournament, she managed to reignite some rivalries and land herself in a brutal match against Raquel Rodriguez at Night of Champions. This showdown had some emotional depth to it. Raquel had previously aligned with Liv Morgan and had a history with Ripley due to their shared Judgment Day ties and storylines involving Dominic Mysterio. At Night of Champions, Rhea and Raquel engaged in a wild street fight. Outside interference, including Roxanne Perez, made it even more chaotic. Still, Rhea managed to win in what was a gutsy and hard-fought match, showing that she could stand tall on her own again, even without a title. The drama didn't stop there. On the June 30th episode of Raw, Rhea Ripley kicked off the show to talk about her future. That's when Io Sky interrupted her, the reigning women's world champion. This confrontation set up a highly anticipated rematch, Rhea Ripley vs. Io Sky at Evolution 2 on July 13th. This match is being billed as one of the biggest women's title matches of the summer, and for good reason. It puts 2 of WWE's top women head-to-head again, and there's a lot at stake. Rhea wants her title back. Io wants to cement her status. Looking back at Rhea Ripley's WrestleMania legacy, it becomes clear just how far she's come. Her WrestleMania journey started in 2020 at WrestleMania 36, where she defended the NXT Women's Championship against Charlotte Flair. This was during the COVID-19 pandemic, so the match took place inside the empty Performance Center. Despite a valiant effort, Ripley lost to Flair after tapping out to the figure 8, but even in defeat, she made an impression. She had stepped onto the WrestleMania stage and gone toe-to-toe with one of WWE's best. The following year at WrestleMania 37, Ripley came back stronger. She debuted on the main roster and challenged Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. In front of the first live WrestleMania crowd in nearly 2 years, Rhea picked up the win and claimed her first major title on the main roster. That victory was a major milestone, solidifying her as a dominant force. WrestleMania 38 in 2022 marked a temporary shift in her path. She competed in a fatal 4-way tag team title match alongside Liv Morgan but didn't walk out with the gold. This period marked her transition into a darker character, eventually leading her to the Judgment Day faction. Then came WrestleMania 39 in 2023, widely regarded as her true breakout moment. After winning the Royal Rumble, Ripley chose to face Charlotte Flair again, seeking redemption for her loss in 2020. In a brutal, critically acclaimed match, Ripley defeated Flair to win the SmackDown Women's Championship. That match was a career-defining moment, one that elevated her from rising star to main event powerhouse. It was a full-circle moment. She overcame the same opponent who had taken her down 3 years earlier, and she did it on her own terms. WrestleMania 40 saw Rhea enter as the dominant women's world champion. She defended her title against Becky Lynch, the Royal Rumble winner of that year. This time, she opened night 1 of WrestleMania in a high-profile match and retained her championship. The match was intense, gritty, and powerful. It continued to solidify Ripley's reign as one of the strongest in recent memory. However, shortly after the event, Ripley suffered a real injury during a backstage segment with Liv Morgan, which forced her to vacate the championship. This was a huge blow, both to her personally and to her fans. Despite all these ups and downs, Ripley has continued to push forward. That brings us to the present, where the WWE Universe is now wondering if Ripley can regain her title at Evolution 2. From a logical perspective, she absolutely has what it takes to win. She's proven it time and time again, and her popularity remains sky high. But if we're being realistic about WWE's booking direction, there's reason to believe that Io Sky will retain the championship. WWE has been putting in work to build Io Sky as a strong champion, and defeating Ripley again would further cement her credibility. However, the challenge lies in how that match is handled. Do you have Io Sky defeat Rhea Ripley clean in the middle of the ring? That's a tricky call. Ripley is incredibly over with fans, and having her lose clean might not sit well with everyone. At the same time, Io Sky is a babyface now, so a dirty win wouldn't make much sense either. It's a delicate balance that WWE has to figure out. The match result could go either way, but if betting odds meant anything, Io Sky walking out with the title seems like the most likely scenario. And if Io does win, expect some kind of post-match respect from Ripley. She might give Io the spotlight, raise her hand, and let the crowd soak in the moment. WWE often uses these moments to pass the torch and keep both performers looking strong. Ripley has nothing to prove. Her resume speaks for itself. Her toughness, resilience, and ability to overcome pain are already legendary. Whether she leaves Evolution 2 with the championship or not, Rhea Ripley's legacy is already locked in. She's a true warrior, one of the best WWE has to offer, and someone who has repeatedly delivered when it mattered most. From battling through physical agony just to make it to the ring at WrestleMania 41 to holding her own in chaotic feuds post-title loss, Ripley has consistently proven she belongs in the main event spotlight. She's been through it all: pandemic matches, title wins, devastating losses, faction wars, and real-life injuries, and yet she continues to rise. Whatever happens next, Ripley remains one of WWE's most valuable and compelling superstars. Whether chasing gold or simply standing her ground, Rhea Ripley is always going to be a threat.